What happens when an entire museum is left unguarded in the midst of war?
Look, whatever your views on the Iraq War were, the consequence of our invasion of Iraq is that we destroyed one of the great historical Christian communities in the world.
In April 2003, as coalition forces invaded Iraq, the National Museum of Iraq in Baghdad became the target of one of the most significant cultural thefts in history.
Art historians call it the desecration of civilization. For 3 days in April 2003, looters rampaged in the storerooms and galleries of Iraq's National Museum, making off with some 15,000 priceless objects. Many dated back thousands of years to the great civilizations of Babylon and Mesopotamia.
Weeks after the invasion, looters stole 15,000 items from the National Museum of Iraq. Over 8,000 are still unaccounted for, and the looting didn't end there.
Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld dismissed the looting in Baghdad as unimportant.
Freedom's untidy, and free people are free to make mistakes and commit crimes and do bad things.
3 months ago, a British oil and gas geologist was caught trying to smuggle 12 artifacts out of Iraq. This week, he was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Researchers estimate up to 41% of Iraq's archaeological sites were looted by the end of 2003. Many pieces ended up in private collections or museums, like the UK's British Museum. Most were being held in a museum founded by the evangelical Christian owners of Hobby Lobby.
Donnie George Ukana, then Director General of the museum, remembers it well.
We had them there, single items, very unique for the history of mankind. They were there in that museum. And then just some of them just completely destroyed, some of them looted, gone. When I remember, deep inside myself, I feel my heart bleeding for that.
George, who fled Iraq at the height of the insurgency, he still expresses anger over what happened. Coalition forces, he said, had parked a tank a few blocks away from the museum. He says he asked to have the tank moved to the museum entrance, but American troops had no order to intervene and stood by as Iraq's heritage was plundered. George says many of the looters knew which objects they were looking for and where to find them. In other words, they were insiders. On Sunday, April 12th, George returned to the museum to survey the damage.
It's a great shock. The word anger is not enough.
That Sunday, when we came back to the institution, this is what we found. Over 120 rooms trashed like this. Everything was taken away. All the doors were smashed like this.
Many valuable pieces remain missing. The FBI lists the Lioness and the Nubian, an 8th century BC ivory plaque, as the most wanted work of art in the world.
It's inlaid with precious stones and gilded in some parts. That one was actually one of the masterpieces of the museum.
Priceless items like the Warka vase and the Mask of Warka vanished. Despite efforts to recover the stolen pieces, many remain missing, scattered across the globe. This brazen looting not only robbed Iraq of its heritage, but also highlighted the devastating cultural cost of war. It's a haunting reminder of how quickly history can be erased.